Hey everybody, today I'm here to share with you a number of new releases that have just come out or are coming out very soon that I'm pretty sure you're going to want on your TBR. 2021 is just full of amazing, amazing books, and I'm about to make that TBR explode. So let's get started. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's Russell with Ink and Paper Blog. How are you all doing today? As always, I hope you're happy, I hope you're healthy, I hope you're safe, and I of course hope you're reading an amazing book or two or three or four. Today it is another very, very warm day in Northern California. I think I told you all in the last video, my nephew is here visiting. He decided today that he wanted to do an outside picnic, but by 11 o'clock it was already 88 degrees. We did go outside, we sat under a tree, we got some blankets, it was very nice. Very, very warm. We took the dogs, but now we are all safely indoors with the air conditioning running. He's playing some video games, I get to read some books, and get to talk to y'all. So it could not be any better for me. So today I'm here to talk to you about a stack of books that I've received lately that are all titles I think that are either just out or just about to be out so that you can get your hands on them as soon as possible. All of these very different, all of them sound so good. So as always, get out that pen, get out the paper, get out the Goodreads, however you keep track of your TBR. If you are so able, get these books from your local independent bookstore and or get them from your local library, order them, get them on your app, however you do it, get these books right now. So today we're going to start with a little bit of sort of sci-fi dystopia with The Past is Red by Catherynne M. Valente. I was reading the inside of this book. This is the book, I think I read this in the, maybe it was the acknowledgments, but this is the first book that Catherynne Valente worked on after the birth of her son. So it's sort of like her, when she returned back into her creative fold, this is the book we got. And so far, I will say I've started this one and it is really, really good. So this is a dystopian futuristic tale. The world has sort of been destroyed. Rivers have run amok. London is underwater. The Mississippi has destroyed most of the United States. Trash is abound, and we have this sort of place called Garbage Town that is exactly as it sounds, where our main character, Tetley, T-E-T-L-E-Y, lives. Now, she's got her own voice. She is fantastic. She is the main character. She's narrating the tale. We learn at the very beginning that most of Garbage Town has a vendetta against her, and we don't know exactly why. And they have, by law, the ability to almost do anything they want to her except for kill her. But she has this weird optimism in her voice that she just sort of goes through life looking at all of the stuff she does have instead of focusing on the stuff that she doesn't have. And we flash back, we learn about her life, and it's sort of just like this tale of this young woman and how she has become who she is. And I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. I can't wait to see where it goes. So that's The Past is Red by Catherynne M. Valente out from Tor.com. And it is such a beautiful little book. The Past is Red. So good. Okay, a book that I've actually, I think, talked about in another video, but I want to make sure is on your TBR is, excuse me, Ghost Forest by Pik-Shuen Fung out from One World. Now, I just saw that there's an interview with this author on the Reading Women podcast. So if you are a listener of podcasts and you're interested in this one, go check it out. Kendra, she's amazing, and she will do everything you need to even entice you more to read this book. But this is the story of a family where the father has just passed away, and the family doesn't really talk about emotions. The family is originally from Hong Kong, but when Hong Kong's sovereignty was turned over from Britain to China, a number of people in Hong Kong, I think, I started reading this one as well, and it said about 1/6 of the population of Hong Kong left there and immigrated elsewhere. So in our story, the wife and children move from Hong Kong to Canada, but the father stays in Hong Kong to keep his job in order to support the family. And he's called an astronaut father. But now he has passed away and the family has to deal with that, but they've never really dealt in the past with sort of the emotions of anything and everything. This book is told in a really interesting style, short, poetic, sort of verse at times, sometimes typographically very interesting. Very, I don't even know, very like Department of Speculation by Jenny Olaf sort of style in it. But the beginning of it is very, very good. I really like the voice of it. It's very poetic. So that's Ghost Forest by Pik-Shuen Fung, and that is out from One World. Try not to be blown away by that cover. It is difficult, I know. It's so pretty. Okay. Next is a book that I think has just come out or coming out very, very soon. It either comes out this next week or came out last week. And I mentioned it in my last video, and that's The President and the Frog by Catherynne de Robertis. And this is out from Knopf. I am a huge Catherynne de Robertis fan. Her last book, Cantoris, I absolutely, absolutely loved. Now, this is sort of a little bit different in that this is set in a fictional world. We have a man who was a, excuse me, he was known as, I think, the poorest, hold on one second, the poorest president in the world, poorest president in the world. He was the president of an unnamed Latin American country. A journalist comes to interview him, and he sort of lived a very eclectic life, and part of that was being a guerrilla warrior for change, and he was imprisoned for a long time, and he believes while he was in prison that his most meaningful communication was done with a frog, and he's trying to determine whether or not to tell the journalist about this, and we learn about that as we read the book. So this is The President and the Frog. It sort of has that a very magical realism feel to it, so if you're into that sort of a little bit of Gabriela Garcia Marquez in feeling and tone. That's Catherynne de Robertis, The President and the Frog, out now from Knopf. So, okay, now let's do a little bit of historical fiction, and let's talk about When We Meet Again by Caroline Beecham. And this is, I believe, Caroline's first book in the US. She is an Australian author, but she has published more books in Australia, and this is our first one here, and this is coming out from Putnam. This is set in World War II, about like the early 1940s in London. We have a young woman who works in publishing. The war has clearly taken its toll on publishing, but she really thinks that all of that is going to change. She thinks her star is rising. When she gets unexpectedly pregnant, winds up sort of fleeing London and goes and has her baby at a seaside town. Her mother puts her baby up for adoption, and she goes hunting for her child. This is mixed in with the story of an American publisher named Theo Bloom, who has come over to help the British overcome the publishing issues that the war has brought, and how his and our main character, I believe her name is Alice, how Alice and Theo's lives wind up intertwining moving forward, and how all of that wind up coming together. You know what I mean? So there's like a mystery aspect to it. It's the search for this lost child. And at the same time, we're talking about books and publishing and the effects that war had on that. All things that we all love, right? So this is When We Meet Again by Caroline Beecham, out from Putnam. And I'm hoping that this means the rest of her books will be making it over to the US before we know it. Okay, the next book I'm going to tell you about is The 22 Murders of Madison May by Max Barry. Now, I have read Lexicon by Max Barry, and I absolutely loved it. And I've started his last book, Providence. And I'm really enjoying that one as well. But this is his new child. I guess it is his child. His new book that is out now. And this is a story. This one's a little bit more complicated. But in the beginning, we meet a 22-year-old woman named Madison May. She's showing a house to someone who is going to buy it when he says that he's actually her soulmate from another life. and he's warning her that she is in danger, and he's trying to stop her from doing certain things, so what happens to her will not happen to her. Unfortunately, she is murdered, and we are introduced to Felicity Staples, who is from a newspaper. She's assigned to report on the death of Madison May. And yeah, so she sort of learns about this powerful group of people and that have harnessed the ability to slip between their lives and move from one version of reality to another. But she's sort of investigating Madison's death, and she has to sort of seek the truth there. But as she's done that, she's realizing that Madison has been murdered over and over again in different times, and there's only one way to save her, but she's going to have to sort of figure out her own past and her own present in order to do so. Does that make sense? I think it sounds really exciting. I think it sounds like it's going to be a page turner. So that's the 22 Murders of Madison May by Max Berry, out from Putnam as well. My mouth has gotten really dry all of a sudden. All this exciting from talking to you guys. Okay, I did get another book from Putnam that I actually did not know a lot about, and I am really struggling with the author's last name, but this is Suburban Dicks by Fabian, and I'm going to hold Fabian's last name up there. Yeah, I'm not going to even try. I cannot figure out what that sound is going to be. Even sounding it out in my head, I feel like I'm going to say it wrong. But this is a debut novel, I believe, and he is an Argentinian-American comic book writer. And this one actually sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be funny in a weird sort of quirky way. But our main character in this is Andrea Stern. So she was originally... So she sort of thought she's out of the biz of solving homicide. She was a promising young woman in the field. She thought she was going to be an FBI profiler, but life changes. She's now living in New Jersey. She has 4 children with a 5th on the way. She stops one day at a convenience store, I think? Yeah, a gas station. And she stumbles upon a murder scene. The attendant has been killed. And she realizes that the cops that are investigating it don't really know what's going on, and they're sort of not doing it right. So she decides she's going to become obsessed with this case and try to solve it while taking her 4 and soon to be 5th children along with her. But then she also gets involved with her friend. He's like a disgraced reporter who he's trying to break this story to sort of bring himself back into the good graces, and how that all sorts of comes together. And like body parts started to appear over the city, and they're trying to investigate it and all of that. I think it's going to be sort of a quirky, fun murder mystery with a sense of humor. Does that make sense? So that is Suburban Dicks, out from Putnam, and this is by Fabian, and I'm going to hold his last name up there for y'all to see. And I think this sounds like a really fun summer read. Or if you like just good old-fashioned mysteries. This next book is the only book that I don't remember ever requesting or hearing about it until it showed up on my doorstep. So it's the one I know even less about than Suburban Dicks, and that's The Godstone by Violette Malan. And let me hold that up there for you. This is out from Daw Books. And this is a fantasy, sort of urban fantasy, I believe. So our main character is Ferna. She is a practitioner. She uses magic to heal people. And one of her clients, whose name is Arland, has been summoned by the city because he's going to have to testify that his cousin, his cousin Xandra has gone missing. And he is there to testify that she is no longer alive, basically. So they can finally say that she's passed, because as Fenra learns, she thinks that they want to get into Xandra's personal vault because they believe in it. There is something called a Godstone. We learn, and this is in the blurb, I'm not ruining anything, that Arlen and Xandra are actually the same person, and Xandra had gone into hiding and had hidden the Godstone because it had almost destroyed the world, and now people want it again. And in hiding it, Arlen has been made ill, so there was a repercussion for what happened, and they need to do something to protect from the Godstone coming out again. And that is what the adventure is. They must keep the world safe, and that's The Godstone by Violette Malan out from Daw Books. And I believe this is out already as well, so you can get your hands on it. Okay, just three more. Oh, three such good. All these books are so good. I hope they're all making it on your TBR. But let's talk about Nightbitch by Rachel Yoder. And this is out from Doubleday. Doubleday has been spoiling me with so many amazing books lately. But I'm not going to say much about this book because I really want to dive into it for what it is. But this is about a woman who one day wakes up, finds a patch of fur on her neck, and firmly believes that she is transforming into a dog. Her husband is travels for work, is rarely home, sort of placates her, thinks it's all in her mind, but she firmly believes that as things are going along, she is becoming more and more canine and having more and more canine abilities. That's all I want to know. I don't want to know too much because I think it sounds super fun. This book actually came with this little comic book that you can color, so that's really cute as well. So I'm super interested to see what Rachel Yoder has done with this book and how it's going to be. So again, this is out from Doubleday. This is Nightbitch by Rachel Yoder, and you can get your hands on it. I can't remember who I saw review it online, but they really liked it. So I'm really excited about this one, that one. I am a huge Nicholas Butler fan. If you guys remember, I think it was last year or was it the year before, I read Little Faith by him. I loved that book. And I reviewed it, and even his mom sent me a comment online, and it was the sweetest thing. And I've also read Shotgun Love Songs, which I need to reread. And he wrote The Hearts of Men, which was really popular. I think that's the only Nicholas Butler I haven't read yet. But his new book is Godspeed, and this is out now. How beautiful is that color? It's sort of Aurora-esque in nature. So thank you very much. And this is also out from Putnam. This is Putnam sending me some great books. Gosh, everyone, I'm so lucky. This is the story of a house that is being built with a mystery. We have three men who work for a construction company, and they have been hired to finish building this house way faster than it needs to be built. This person who is building it has an immense amount of money and wants it done so quickly, almost in a way that it cannot be done. But there's a huge bonus available if the men can get it done. And this takes place in Wyoming. The winter is coming. They're trying to do everything they can. They will risk anything to get this done. And I just like this. It says, what becomes an obsession for all three quickly builds to tragic consequences for some. And I think things aren't going to go so well, but I'm super excited. What Nicholas Butler does better than many writers is he builds these characters with such emotional depth. So they're so well-rounded, but they're also like a little, just a little rough around the edges. So like at times you're sort of like, I'm off put by them, but you also see their heart inside. He does such an amazing job with those sort of hard to like, but hard not to love male characters. And I just love that about his work. And he just really is good in his space, like Wyoming and that sort of world. He creates the nature of it, the environment of it, in beautiful prose. So I'm really excited about Godspeed by Nicholas Butler. This is out from Putnam right now. And yes, he's doing a virtual tour for that book right now. I just saw it online. So if you are able, you should join one and get your copy. Last but not least is probably the biggest name with a new book in this stack, and that is Ha Jin. And this is A Song Everlasting, his new novel out from Pantheon. Now, he won, was it the National Book Award or the Pulitzer? I think he won the National Book Award National Book Award for Waiting, which I loved. And I read Waiting a long time ago. I was much younger, and I remember just absolutely being blown away by it. I'm a huge fan of his book, War Trash, as well. I think that's You know, sometimes I mix up names, but War Trash was right. And that's a fantastic book as well. And so this is his new novel, which, you know, we all get behind when someone as talented as he is puts a new book out. This is the story of an artist that is on a U.S. tour from China here in the United States. He picks up like one last gig in New York because he has to pay for his daughter's tuition. It's a lot of money. He's going to do it. When he returns home to China, he is informed that the sponsors of that event are supporters of Taiwan's succession. So he is sort of informed that he has to do this formal self-criticism. But when he's told he has to forfeit his passport to his employer, he decides impulsively, he goes back to New York. He decides he's going to go back to New York. He's an artist. He's going to live his life, and he's not going to allow the government to dictate who he is. And so he comes over. He has an old friend that lives over here, and he is then placed on the Chinese government's blacklist, and they are going to do everything they can to thwart him moving forward. And he insists on sort of always living within his identity as a performer and refusing to give up on his art, even though all of this is going around. I bet there's a lot to this. I'm just really excited about like the political piece with the artistic piece with the creation of it all. Does that make sense? I think it's going to be very deep. Ha-Jin is just an amazing writer. So I'm really excited. A Song Everlasting by Ha-Jin, and this is out from Pantheon. That is the last book. This is a huge stack, so let's see if I can do this without dropping any of them, which you know never happens. I always drop the whole stack all over myself. As always, if you are a return subscriber, you know I could not do this without you. If you're new to my channel, I hope you stick around. I hope all of these books wound up on your TBR. Let's see if I can do this. There you go. Take a look at those. Yeah, great stack of books. As always, I really, really appreciate everything you all do for watching my videos, all the comments, all the likes. Couldn't do this without you. So, moving forward, as always, I encourage you to read globally, shop locally, and until next time, I wish you happy reading. Bye, everyone.